the way, that's on like 3 days.
Are you really beating Taylor Swift, by the way?
Yeah, I did. The J6 is beating Taylor Swift. It's Donald Trump and the J6 prisoners.
The Pledge of Allegiance.
On iTunes and on Amazon and on Billboard, which is the big deal. #1, Donald Trump. So now I feel like Elvis, because now we've done The Apprentice. That was a great success. We did. Now I've done a recording or whatever you call it. But no, it was #1. And you know what that is? That's a tribute to the fact that people feel the J6 people have been very unfairly treated.
You see, that was Donald Trump bragging about making a song with January 6th insurrectionists. At the same time, in court filings in the Washington, D.C. federal court, Donald Trump claims that he shouldn't be associated with insurrectionists. He's trying to distance himself there. Fortunately, federal judge Tanya Chutkan is not buying what Donald Trump is selling, and in a scathing order, denied Donald Trump's attempt to remove or strike allegations from the indictment that reference the January 6th insurrection and insurrectionists. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Let's dig into Judge Chutkan's scathing order rejecting Donald Trump's efforts to try to strike allegations in the Washington, D.C. federal criminal indictment, which reference January 6th insurrectionists. The case in Washington, D.C., remember, involves Donald Trump's attempt to overthrow the free and fair election in 2020. And what Special Counsel Jack Smith states is that Donald Trump brags about the J6 choir. He calls the January 6th insurrectionist patriots. He says he's going to pardon them. This so-called choir that Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans sing song with and make money off of by releasing their music on Apple Music are also among some of the most dangerous insurrectionists who are currently in the Washington, D.C. jail. So Donald Trump's attempt to distance himself from these people, Special Counsel Jack Smith says, is so disingenuous. Here's another clip. This is Donald Trump in Texas. I can't play the actual insurrectionist song that because Donald Trump has copyrighted it. They make money off of this thing and it would be flagged on YouTube. So I'm just going to show you what happens after Donald Trump plays this at the beginning of his traveling circus fascist events, where the crowd not singing the national anthem, they're singing the J6th choir song. Here, play this, then let's go through Judge Chutkan's order. Play the clip.
And they asked me whether or not I would partake and do the beautiful words, and I said yes, I would. And you saw the spirit. The spirit was incredible. And when that came out, it went to the #1 song. It was beating everybody. It beat Taylor Swift. It beat Miley Cyrus, who was #1 and 2. They were #1 and 2. We knocked them off for a long time.
All right, let's go through Judge Chutkan's order right here. Now, Judge Chutkan points out that first and foremost, an indictment isn't evidence that goes before a jury at the time of trial. So just kind of basic criminal law 101. Evidence will go before a jury. But in any event, what Judge Chutkan says is that Donald Trump trying to say these allegations are inflammatory, they just simply are not. And a jury, even if they had the indictment, would be able to evaluate the evidence for themselves and assess it. This is an important ruling because it also shows where Judge Chutkan's mindset is on this case. She hasn't yet ruled on Donald Trump's motions to dismiss the indictment. He filed it on various grounds. She gave a very brief extension, but she's going to deny those. I can say that with a great deal of confidence, and this also gives us a better sense of her thinking. Here, Judge Chutkan says in this scathing order, defendant Donald Trump has filed a motion to strike so-called inflammatory allegations from the indictment. The motion asks the court to strike certain paragraphs. Those paragraphs allege that on January 6, 2021, defendant and co-conspirators repeated knowingly false claims of election fraud to gathered supporters, falsely told them that the vice president had the authority to and might alter the election results, and directed them to the Capitol to obstruct the certification proceeding and exert pressure on the vice president to take the fraudulent actions he had previously refused, and that after supporters broke through the barriers cordoning off the Capitol grounds, violently attacked law enforcement officers, and breached the building, that defendant Donald Trump refused to issue a calming message aimed at the rioters and instead issued a tweet intending to further delay and obstruct the certification, attacking Mike Pence for failing to halt the certification proceedings. Donald Trump wants that stricken. Donald Trump wants that removed. Special Counsel Jack Smith's like, that goes to his intent of the charges that are brought against him. Did you know digestive issues can be caused by a potential toxin that's in all of the, quote, healthy foods that scientists have been telling us to eat with a fraudulent food pyramid for the longest time? And this potential toxin causes digestive issues, according to Dr. Gundry, a world-renowned cardiologist. This is affecting millions of people nationwide. Warning signs include weight gain and fatigue, and digestive discomfort and stiff joints, even skin problems. Well, Dr. Gundry explains these side effects are often mistaken for normal signs of aging because digestive issues develop usually over a matter of years and sometimes even decades. I can assure you that the damage is probably caused by these health foods, and it's far from normal. The good news is you can easily help fix the problem from your own home. It's very simple. You just have to know which foods are actually healthy and which contain this hidden potential toxin. So you can go find this all out for yourself at gutcleanseprotocol.com/Meidas. That's gutcleanseprotocol.com/Meidas, or just click the link in the description below this video, because after years of research, Dr. Gundry has decided to release an informative video to the public, free and uninterrupted, showcasing exactly which foods you need to avoid. Go find that video at gutcleanseprotocol.com/Meidas. That's gutcleanseprotocol.com/Meidas, or click the link in the description below. Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 7D provides when a court may strike language that is surplusage from the indictment or information upon a defendant's motion. The rule has been strictly construed against striking surplusage. And then it goes on to say, regardless of whether the allegations at issue are relevant, defendant has not satisfied his burden to clearly show that they are prejudicial. He argues that sharing the allegations with the jury may result in prejudice at his trial, quote, because members of the jury may wrongfully impute fault to him for the actions at the Capitol on January 6th. And then it goes on to say, but consistent with its past practice, this court will not provide a copy of the indictment to jurors, eliminating that source of potential prejudice. And the court's like, that's not something that really jurors get. Defendant's 16-page reply in support of the motion, despite making numerous inflammatory and unsupported accusations of its own. For example, it cites President Biden directed the DOJ to prosecute his leading opponent, devotes only a single paragraph to the prejudice requirement. So there, Judge Chutkan calls out Donald Trump for making inflammatory allegations in the motion to strike inflammatory allegations, but says, but your motion, you don't even go over the key thing here to determine if a motion to strike should be granted, which is the prejudice. Donald Trump's motion devotes only a single paragraph to the prejudice requirement. His sole argument is that even if the jury does not receive a copy of the indictment, quote, voluminous evidence exists here that the jury pool has been and continues to be exposed to the indictment and its inflammatory and prejudicial allegations through media coverage relating to the case. But defendant fails to cite even one example of the evidence. In any event, the voir dire process, the jury selection process, will allow the court to examine and address the effects that pretrial publicity, including any generated by defendant, has had on the impartiality of potential jurors. When trial begins, the court will also take steps to screen from the jury any irrelevant and prejudicial material that either party seeks to introduce. Moreover, before the jurors deliberate, the court will instruct them on the actual charges and the evidence that they may consider in their deliberations. This too will prevent, quote, potential prejudice from alleged surplusage. For these reasons, defendant's motion to strike inflammatory allegations from the indictment is hereby denied, signed by Judge Tanya Chutkan, dated November 17th, 2023. Judge Chutkan was not having it at all. And then what we'll see now is before trial, Donald Trump will try to file what's called a motion in limine. He's already previewed that to exclude this type of information from going before a jury. Ultimately, we have to see what Donald Trump's attempted defenses are going to be. Is he going to rely on an advice of counsel? Recall that he has to make that disclosure in the next 2 months based on another ruling by Judge Chutkan. In other words, is he going to blame his lawyers? What's Trump going to put forward for his defense? And then Special Counsel Jack Smith is going to put forward this evidence and say, look, this shows that you had the intent, or what we call in criminal law, the requisite mens rea, the requisite mental state required here. And we know you had the intent to engage in this behavior. It wasn't accidental. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't some big misunderstanding. It wasn't that you were deluded or people deceived you. We knew that you wanted to do it because you're praising the most violent ones. You're saying they're great. You're making songs with them. You're making money with them. You're putting their songs out on Apple Music. One final thing, folks. What the heck? Could we just say that? What the heck? He's out there making music with January 6th insurrectionists. Y'all remember Stand Back and Stand By from the 2020 debate? It went from Stand Back, Stand By to let's record music together with the most dangerous terrorists. This is beyond absurd. Don't normalize this behavior. We will not here on the MeidasTouch Network. We will speak the truth. We will give you the facts, and we appreciate your support. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, and have a great day.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.